Hello, hello, beautiful, beautiful troll dolls. Thanks for joining me on this little paint with me episode. So, I'm doing some watercolor illustrations of cats here. Yeah, nothing majorly impressive, but that's not really the point. I feel like this is just, well, this sketchbook is me just committing to drawing on a daily basis. The reason is I just want to practice and get better. That's it. So the things in here are going to be wild, as in wildly different. It's just going to be whatever I fancy drawing on the day. I'm pretty sure prior to this, I've got a painting of the Fiend. And Jack Sparrow. So there we go. There's a lot of variety here. It's just about actually drawing and actually learning and just allowing myself to experiment and just have a bit of fun with it. It doesn't matter if things turn out bad or good or anything. It's not the point. It's the point of actually practicing and committing to it. I don't think I'm ever going to show you the drawing process of any of my work, and the reason for this is, like, as you can see, I've just pencil sketched all of these cats out. Reason being, I film all of these on my phone, and I also use my phone for a little Pinterest inspiration of these cats. I've basically just scrolled down and drawn my favourite little kittens. So can't use two things at the same time. Well, one thing, but two things at the same time. And I'm not going to lie to you, whilst I was drawing these, I was definitely sprawled on the sofa in my pants watching wrestling with my fiance. So I don't think there's any way that I could film that and it'd be PG. It's not safe for YouTube consumption, unfortunately. So you're just going to get the the pencil illustrations ready to be coloured in some manner. Today it's watercolour. Thinking about it, like, I think the drawing process, I'm generally like sprawled out somewhere. It's not, it's quite a raw, an intimate space for me. Like, particularly when I'm like planning bigger pieces or any of that, it's something that kind of happens on the fly. Like I'm not a sort of person that will sit down at a desk like I am here and have that discipline to, I am going to draw now. That's not really my style. When I'm drawing and mapping out a piece, I'm generally in a more comfortable, relaxed position. It's when I come to filling in the details and adding colour that I create space and plant myself down to actually focus. The illustration side, bit wild. Maybe I should try sitting down actually and doing it that way. But either way, I haven't this time, and I'm probably not going to anytime soon if I'm being honest with myself. But I should have a little go at doing it. I was going to do one of the sort of paint in real time and just talk while I'm painting, but a few issues with that as well is outside I work under like a skylight window, and it depends on the kind of day what noise pollution there's going to be. Sometimes, at the weekend it's just nice, it's a few cars, but it's mainly birds, because I'm not rural, but I'm quite out of the way, so that's nice. But then during the week, unfortunately, there's a nursery just across the road, so you might get squealing little darlings in the background, and I can't deal with that on the best of days. And I wouldn't suspect any of you guys to it either. bless them. Anyway, I've decided to speed it up because, I mean, if I weren't to speed this up, this video was going to be like an hour long, and I don't think I can talk over that. I haven't written a script or anything, and I'm just chatting shite. I don't think I can talk quite for that long. So another one of the reasons why I have chosen to do this is, it's that commitment to getting better as an illustrator, but I've kind of got like a I don't think regret is the right word. It's more like a curiosity. So back when I went to uni, I did a costume degree. No regrets. Like my full-time job, like my day job, my 9 to 5 is making costumes. I make theatre costumes, pantomime costumes, and that's awesome. That's how I pay the rent. That's amazing. Naturally, my sewing abilities, my dressmaking skills, etc., are pretty good. And so much so that does allow me to pay my way through the world off of my creativity, and I do not take that for granted at all. It's amazing. But I was very close to doing an illustration degree. That was the other option, and I do wonder, and I do think what my art would have been had I have chose that route. I think my thinking at the time was that costume seemed so much more specialised, and maybe there were a few regrets here. Like I joined the course thinking I was really into sewing and the costume side of things, and getting into the industry is quite a difficult thing. And I thought, obviously, going on a course that would make that course much smoother. It didn't at all, but I won't rant about that. I'll just say it didn't. Whereas illustration and art, you can pick that up and continue with it whenever, independently. It doesn't matter. You can always just do that and carve your own course. So that was the main reasoning for me choosing the path that I chose. Regardless, I do have this little niggle of what would my work be like if I had committed 3 years of my life to drawing, and how much better would I have been. So that's kind of what I'm doing now, and just trying to be better, trying to rediscover my style and challenge myself to different, just different mediums. And I kind of encourage anybody else to do that too. I think that's a big part of me actually documenting this process, is that hopefully when I'm here talking crap, somebody else can identify with that, and it puts, it gives you the boot up the arse you need to pick up your paintbrush and just get something done. Even if it's a bit shit, don't worry. Some of these cats are looking pretty fugly already. So we can make moderate art together. There we go. Encouraging as always. So my curiosity to see how much better my work would have been is definitely driving some of this newfound drive to make art again. I do have a couple of projects that I'm working on at the moment, independently and creatively. So I did a big mixed media piece recently, which is the Three of Swords, like a tarot piece. And now I've painted on like a bigger scale. It's like mixed media. I've used like crystals and all sorts in it. I do quite like it, and it has kind of given me that little taste of like, oh, okay, what if I was to make a collection and make this a series? So I think that's something that I'm thinking about and planning right now. And I think over the next few months, that's going to be something that kicks off. The other thing that I'm working on is this is just like a personal project. Is a tarot deck, but I've always wanted to make my own tarot deck. I read the tarot, and I've often thought about how I'd illustrate my own deck, and I think I get quite overwhelmed. So I was fooling around with some collage, and I realised that I've made the Fool here. This is the Fool's journey, and from there I've just kind of been creating my own tarot imagery through collage. And I think now I've kind of, my friend has made me promise her that I will see the project through, and have a deck made for myself so I can give her a tarot reading with my own deck. And yeah, it's going to be a collage deck, which is something that I never really anticipated, but I really enjoy it. It's fun. I don't think it's a deck that I'm gonna, or I could if I wanted to, sell. What's the word I'm looking for? Like sell mainstream, like produce and put on the market, because I'm literally just cutting up magazines and all sorts. So the imagery isn't necessarily like my own. Like I've got Lady Gaga as the magician, so I'm pretty sure without Lady Gaga's permission, I wouldn't really be able to sell it as a deck. But when it's for personal use, it doesn't really matter, does it? I am sharing the process of that too. Anyway, back to the task at hand. I'm now fine lining some of these cats. I love this stage. Like the fine liner, these pens are just what I pick up from the pound shop, and I'm so glad like they've stocked this brand of pen for years, and it's like really inky, and it goes over anything, like so paint, pen, whatever, crayon. I've used it over crayons, like as in wax crayons, and it's a brute. Like these pens will write over anything. And I really love the inkiness. Sorry. And I just think that this stage brings everything to life. Like throughout the watercolour, I'm always quite like loose and ready. Like I don't mind if things like spill over the edge a bit, because it's this bit that really like ties everything in and brings these little characters into the real existence by just defining the lines. I should mention the paints themselves as well. So there's the blue palette that I've been using is a really cheap, nasty deck from The Works. That's a budget shop in the UK, if you're not familiar with it. And I've had it years. Really, honestly, like I'm pretty sure I had that at like GCSE. And yeah, it's powdery. I think that's the best way of describing it. It's the colours aren't so pigmented. Pigmented? Yeah, that's the right word. Pigmented. And when it dries, it does have this sort of like sandy, gritty texture to it, which I understand is cheap and nasty, and a lot of people are not gonna like that. But I kind of do. And I'm really weird when it comes to like textures of things. And I think this is why I'm like such a mixed media kind of girl. Like I love the feel. I'm very tactile and love the feel of things. So yeah, like the powdery texture of it, I really love. And again, this is what the sketchbook's all about, is about using different sorts of medium and understanding how they work and making the qualities that they have work for whatever piece. It's powdery, gritty quality. I'm just into it. And my point being as well, like this is making art super accessible. Like you can buy, like I'm sure that was like a couple of quid from the works, and watercolors tend to be like quite affordable. You can do this. Like this is an accessible hobby, and I would encourage anybody to invest in a little sketchbook and draw purely for themselves. It's wonderful. The other paints that I've got, you can see in the corner, they are, oh God, what's the brand? Newton Blake, is that the brand? Newton something. I will write it in the description. I've gone real blank with that. You'll know exactly what I mean if you use watercolours, particularly in the UK. There's like that brand. Again, really accessible. You can pick it up in most places like Hobbycraft, and all decent art shops will stock it. Those paints are a little bit more spenny, but they're far more pigmented and they're so silky under the brush. It's really nice. So yeah, that's another brand for you that I would recommend them more than the works, but I'm just weird and like that sort of like powdery child paint quality. I don't really have an issue with it. It's more pastel and matte. You don't get like a lustrous sort of finish on it, but I just like it. It's nice. It feels good. The sketchbook itself, I just want to mention as well. There's nothing special about it. In fact, this sketchbook I actually used for my GCSE projects, and I think it was last year. I went through basically all of my sketchbooks that I've ever used, and pulled out the pages that I just were crap, saved and cut out the bits that I do like and do want to keep, and now I've got a kind of like collection of half-paged fresh scrapbooks, sketchbooks. I guess it is more of a scrapbook now. And yeah, I'm just gonna work myself through them. I feel like there's no point in wasting them, so that's what I'm gonna do. And now they've already been battered a bit as well. Like I don't feel precious about them, which is so important. Like I think one of the things that any artist will do is you procrastinate over starting a new sketchbook because you don't want to fuck it up, or like you don't want to delve into the new paints because like you don't want to waste them or any of that. And I'm just like this, by using something old and shit, you don't really care about it. Like I'm not really bothered. It's really not the point of this book. This book is just for me to experiment and play and just get back into the habit of drawing. So yeah, it does have a very nice texture to it. I will say that the pages aren't really like bleeding through when I've used quite a bit of water-based medium on them. They're crinkling, but I can deal with it. It's fine. It's not like I'm ever intending this to be an immaculate book. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's turning out. Anyway, I feel like I've spoke more than enough right now, and I may dip off soon. Yeah, Like, I'll give you a couple of minutes without me talking shit. I think I'll slow down a clip towards the end as well, just so you can see like the real time. Like I said, this video would have been so much longer had I have not sped it up, although I kind of like seeing things in real time and seeing the actual process, but you're near enough there. It's not like I'm painting a masterpiece here. It's just a bunch of cats. Just one note though: black, white, and yellow. Mwah, beautiful palette. I love it as a colour scheme. It's really one of my favourites. It used to be all of my branding colours for my my old shop, which I might talk about in another video. Yeah, but for now, thank you for listening to me ramble on and on and on. I can't believe I've done this with zero script or anything, so I'm sorry. I don't know what I've been talking about at all. Yeah, love you loads. If you can put up with my madness, like, subscribe, and all of that shite, it would be much appreciated. Get drawing. Just go and make the thing that you want to make. Do it for yourself and enjoy the process. Love you. Bye.